2 Corinthians 12:9. My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. The strongest thing I ever did was admit I was breaking. Nobody saw the war, but God saw every battle I was taking. I walk in every room like everything is under control, like the weight I carry daily isn't crushing at the soul. I've mastered the performance, got the posture and the smile. Been wearing this composure like a costume for a while. Nobody at the table knows I barely slept last night. Nobody in the meeting knows I lost another fight. Inside my own mind, against the voices, against the fear, against the version of myself that whispers you don't belong here. I pray in the morning like a man who has it figured out, then spend the afternoon just trying not to fall into the doubt. I read the word and feel it and believe it for a moment. In real life it's the bruise and I'm back trying to own it. The hardest part isn't the pain, it's performing through the pain. It's laughing at the right time while you're drowning in the rain. It's being the strong one in the room that everyone depends on, while privately you're looking for a floor that you can lean on. I haven't told my closest ones because I don't know how to start. How do you explain the war that's happening in your heart that has no visible wounds, no bandage, no address? Just a man who keeps on moving while he's quietly a mess. No one knows I'm fighting, no one sees the blood behind the smile I keep providing. But God knows every trench I've been in, every night I nearly didn't make it to the morning. He knows the war, he sees the weight. No one knows I'm fighting, but I'm fighting by his grace. There came a point where hiding it was heavier than sharing. With a mask it cost me more than the vulnerability of caring. I sat alone one night and just let God see all of it. No filter, no performance, just the raw and honest edges of it. I said, Lord, I'm not okay, and I haven't been in months. In the silence that came back wasn't absence, it was something like a presence that had been there through the whole thing, undisclosed. Who never needed me to hold it together, to stay close. That broke the shame around it, knowing he already knew that I've been fighting in the dark and he been fighting with me too. Now waiting for me to be stronger before he'd show his face, but present in the weakness, present in the broken space. The training gave me language, the fighter in the gym who bleeds behind closed doors so the crowd won't see his dim. His preparation is invisible, but the victory is real. The unseen work is always what determines how you feel. So I started letting people in, not everyone, just some. Started saying I'm not okay before the words would go numb. Found that honesty created bridges where the walls had been, and the fight got lighter when I let a few save people in. I'm still in it, I won't pretend the war is fully done, but I know now that fighting hidden isn't how this race is won. Lord, let me fight with people, not in isolation and in pride, because the battles you assigned were never meant to be survived alone inside. No one knows I'm fighting, no one sees the blood behind the smile I keep providing. But God knows every trench I've been in, every night I nearly didn't make it to the morning. He knows the war, he sees the weight. No one knows I'm fighting, but I'm fighting by his grace. The bravest thing you'll ever do is stop pretending you're not in the war. Philippians 4:7. And the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus. I've been chasing peace, and my own thinking keeps destroying The loudest room I've ever been in has no walls. It's just my mind going. It's 2 a.m. and I've been staring at the ceiling since 11. Running through scenarios that haven't even happened. Replaying conversations, editing the things I said. Rehearsing confrontations with the people in my head. I tried to breathe in exercises, tried to count it in the list, tried to podcast in the playlist, but the spiral still persists. Tried exhausting myself training just to fall into a sleep that lasts about 2 hours before the thoughts come back to eat. The worst ones come disguised as wisdom, planning or concern, like I'm being responsible by watching everything that burns. But there's a difference between thinking through a problem with intent and circling the same dark block at 3 a.m. without relent. I've lost whole nights to versions of a future that won't come. I've rehearsed entire funerals for things not even done. I built catastrophes from silences and looks and tones, and lived inside the rubble of the fears I built alone. And the irony is I know better. I read the verse, I know the piece, but knowing and receiving are two different things to reach. And my mind keeps moving faster than my faith can seem to follow. And the silence that I'm praying for feels further than tomorrow. My mind won't stay quiet. Every night becomes a riot. Thoughts I didn't send for showing up like they were invited. I'm tired of the running, tired of the noise. Lord, I need the kind of quiet that restores the inner voice. My mind won't stay quiet, but I'm bringing it to you, because I've tried everything I know and nothing else breaks through. The turning point wasn't dramatic, it was desperate and it was small. I stopped trying to fix my thinking and just let myself fall into honesty with God. Not the polished bedtime prayer, but the unfiltered, barely coherent. Lord, I can't do this out there. I said the thoughts out loud in Him, the anxious in the dark, the ones I was ashamed of and the ones that hit the mark. Of every fear I carry about failing and being known as a fraud, I sometimes feel like when I'm thinking alone. There's something about externalizing what my mind kept cycling through. Reduced its power over me, like pulling darkness into view. The thought that felt like truth inside the echo of my skull. Something smaller in the open, less official, less in full. The training gave me this, the overworked and undertrained. The body that won't rest becomes a body that's in pain. Recovery is not weakness, it's the discipline of stillness. In the mind that never rests, it's just a muscle headed for illness. So I built a practice, not a perfect one, but real, of giving God the first 10 minutes before the thoughts congeal, of writing out the noise before it calcifies the feel, of sitting in the silence long enough to let Him near. I'm not cured, the nights will come, the thoughts still try to race, but now I know that somewhere I can bring them. There's a space where the God who made my mind can meet me in the mess of it, and guard the gates of what gets in, if I would let Him sit. My mind won't stay quiet. Every night becomes a riot. Thoughts I didn't send for showing up like they were invited. I'm tired of the running, tired of the noise. Lord, I need the kind of quiet that restores the inner voice. My mind won't stay quiet, but I'm bringing it to you, because the only peace that holds is the peace that comes from you. You can't think your way to peace, you have to surrender your way there. Mark 4:39, He got up, rebuked the wind and said to the waves, "Quiet, be still." Then the wind died down and it was completely calm. If you can silence the ocean with a word, then why is it so loud inside a man who knows he's hurt? God, I'm coming to you different tonight. Not polished, not prepared, not with the right vocabulary or the posture of a prayer. I'm coming as I am, with these fractured and fatigued. A man whose inner world is louder than the life that others see. There's a noise in here that doesn't have a single clean source. Not one problem I can solve, it's 1,000 things at once. It's the deadline and the failure and the thing I said last week. It's the future and the past and all the in-between they keep. I can't locate the off switch, I've been looking for a year. Tried to discipline, tried to distance, tried to simply not be here. In my head, tried to step outside the mental weather, but my mind just follows me and pulls me back into the pressure. I sit in church and hear the sermon, but I'm somewhere else inside, processing the worry that I carry since July. I close my eyes to pray and the agenda filled the space before I even speak your name. The thoughts have taken place, I'm not doubting you exist. I know you're real, I've seen your work, but right now in this moment all I feel is what I'm under. And I need you to reach into the static of the skull and do the thing you did to water, make it still, make it full.
God, why is it so loud in here?
I can't find it quiet and I can't see clear.
Every thought is fighting for the front of the line,
And I'm losing ground inside the borders of my mind.
come into the noise
Like you came into the storm.
God, why is it so loud? Make it still.
Make it yours. I've been treating this like something I should manage on my own, like pieces of performance and the mind is just a zone I control through enough effort and the scripture enough will. Not realizing I was trying to be my own tranquil. But you don't ask me to achieve the quiet, you are the quiet. You don't ask me to produce the peace, you bring it to the riot. And somewhere in the fighting I ain't gotten that reverse, trying to steal the water when you specialize in that verse. The training showed me this, the athlete overtrained, who pushes past the limit out of fear of being pain. By stillness, by the rest, they by the silence of not grinding. Destroys the very thing his dedication was refined. And I've been doing that with thinking, grinding against the noise, using more noise to fight the noise, more words to beat the voice. When what the mind needs sometimes is not another strategy, but to be held by something larger than its own capacity. So tonight I'm not gonna fight it, I'm going to hand it over. Every anxious thought, every loop, every unfinished closure, I'm laying down the management and picking up the trust that the God who spoke the water speaks to minds, and that's enough. Lord, come into the loudest room inside me, the one I've kept you out of because I thought I could quiet it. It's sitting in with me, not to fix it in a moment, but to be the peace that's present even when the noise is loudest. Yeah.
Why is it so loud in here?
I can't find the quiet and I can't see clear.
Every thought is fighting for the front of the line,
And I'm losing ground inside the borders of my mind.
come into the noise
Like you came into the storm. God, why is it so loud? You're the stillness I was born for. Sometimes the most faithful prayer you can pray is, God, I can't quiet this, so I need you in it. Matthew 11:28. Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. I've been carrying the weight so long, I forgot it wasn't normal. The smile got so practiced it stopped feeling like performance. Yeah, I walk in the room, lights up because they needed to. I get the energy, the life, the presence, that's what I do. Been the strong one for so long, I don't remember being weak. Been the answer in the room so long, I forgot I could seek. I come home and close the door and the performance finally drops. And I sit inside the silence while everything just stops. Not peaceful quiet, hollow quiet, the kind that follows on when you're giving all your daylight hours and there's nothing left by dawn. I'm tired in the way that sleep doesn't seem to fix. Tired of the managing, the masking in the mix. Who I am in public and the version no one sees. The man behind the smile is barely holding at the knees. I said I'm fine so many times, our phrase lost all its meaning. I said I got it covered while the structure kept on leaning. Nobody pushed the ask again because I sold it well and I was too convincing for my own good. Truth to tell, the worst part isn't being tired, it's forgetting that it's not a permanent condition that I earned and now I've got it. Crept in so gradually, I normalized the weight and called the heaviness maturity instead of something straight. I smile, but I'm tired. Not broken, just a fire burning lower than required. I've been giving up the light while running out of fuel. I smile, but I'm tired. I'm bringing this to you. Not the version that I show, the one that's really raw. I smile, but I'm tired, and I think you knew it all along. There's a kindness in admitting it that pride kept from my door. The permission to be human that I never gave before. I thought that being tired was a failure of my faith, that if I really trusted God, the weariness would break. But even Jesus pulled away from class to be alone. Even David wrote the songs from places deeply worn. Elijah under juniper trees, asked God to let him rest, and God did lecture him. He fed him in a dress. The training gave me language. The overworked and spent athlete who ignores the signals that his body meant to give. His information, not his weakness. To push through recovery isn't failure, it's what makes the work continue true. So I started building in the honest, started saying when I'm low, started letting certain people pass a version of the show. Not oversharing, not performing, even vulnerability, just telling one safe person I'm not okay, and here is why. Something shifted in the telling, not the tiredness, not yet, but the isolation lifted like a morning after wet. I wasn't carrying it alone inside a sealed and private room, and the way divided in two felt different in the room. Lord, I give you the exhaustion I've been polishing to hide, the tired that's been living in the smile I put outside. Let me rest without the guilt, let me be without performing. Let the people who love me love the one who's still becoming. I smile, but I'm tired. Not broken, just the fire burning lower than required. I've been giving up the light while running out of fuel. I smile, but I'm tired. God, I'm bringing this to you. Not the version that I show, the one beneath the mask. I smile, but I'm tired, and that's enough to finally ask. The bravest smile you'll ever wear is the one you finally take off. First Kings 19:12. After the earthquake came a fire, but the Lord was not in the fire. And after the fire came a gentle whisper. I spent years looking for God in every loud and moving thing. Never knew he'd been waiting in the quiet all alone. I filled every empty space with something, music, noise, emotion. Kept the volume high enough to stay above the ocean. Of feelings I was frightened of, questions with no ceiling. Of the parts of me I buried underneath the daily dealing. I was productive in my avoidance, gave it structure, gave it form. Turned my running from the silence into discipline and norm. If I stayed in motion long enough, the deeper things stayed down. And I could function on the surface without ever having to drown. But God is patience that outlasts the strategies we build. He waited through the playlists and the schedules I filled. Waited through the ministry, the service and the grind. Waited at the bottom of the noise I left behind. Then came a season where the noise stopped working like it should, where the distractions lost their power and the busyness felt hollow. Where I sat inside an evening with no agenda left to follow, and didn't know what I would find or if I liked what came. I sat with it for minutes that felt longer than a month. The discomfort of the stillness hit me harder than I thought. Every feeling I've been out running lined up at the door, and I had nothing left to run with anymore. Silence is where God met me. Not in the sermon, not the song he got beneath me. In the space between the noise where I had nothing left to bring. He was already there before I said a single thing. I didn't find him, he been waiting in the quiet. Silence is where God met me, and it changed everything inside. What happened in that stillness wasn't lightning, wasn't loud. No vision and no visitation breaking through the cloud. Just a settling like sediment returning to the floor. Like the water going clear when you stop stirring anymore. And in that clarity I heard the thing I've been outrunning. Not condemnation, not a verdict, something more becoming. A voice that knew my name from the inside out completely. That didn't need my productivity to speak to me. I wept without a reason, I could fully put the language. Just a release of something held too long inside the anguish of a man who'd been performing even in his private space, and finally stopped long enough to feel, to be, to face. The training gave me this, the athlete in the recovery who fights the rest, they harder than the training they discovery. Thinking stillness is progression when it's actually the source of everything the session couldn't build without the pause. So I restructured everything, put silence in the schedule, not as emptiness to fill, but as the sacred and essential. 10 minutes in the morning before the agenda starts climbing. Just me and God and nothing, and it changed my entire timing. The quality of everything I did began to shift. Not because I worked it harder, but because I learned to sit in the presence that was always there beneath the noise I made. And let the silence be the place where I was finally unafraid. Silence is where God met me. Not in the sermon, not the song he got beneath me. In the space between the noise where I had nothing left to bring. He was already there before I said a single thing. I didn't find him in the fire or the rushing wind above. Silence is where God met me, and the whisper was enough. God was never hard to find. He was just hard to hear above the noise I kept making.
Genesis 2:7. Then the Lord God formed a man from the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life. The first thing God ever gave me was a breath. So why did I spend years living like I was scared of rest? Yeah. Oh. Yeah. I didn't notice when it started tightening in the chest. The wage they demanded more than what was left. I kept on saying yes to everything the calendar would hold. Kept adding weight to shoulders that were quietly getting old. I was running at a pace that had no finish line in sight. Trading sleep for output, trading peace for getting it right. Every morning started anxious before my feet hit the floor. Like the day was already behind me when I opened the door. I couldn't sit in stillness without reaching for my phone. Couldn't eat a meal in quiet, couldn't drive without a tone. Filling every gap with input like the silence was a threat. Like if I stopped producing, I would somehow be in debt. The body started sending signals I kept choosing to ignore. Tension in the neck and shoulders that I'd had for a year or more. A tightness that coffee couldn't touch no matter how I tried. A flatness in the mornings that I couldn't push aside. There's something in me cracked, not loudly, not dramatic. Just a Tuesday afternoon that felt completely automatic. Where I sat inside my car before I went inside the house and couldn't make myself move to sit in quiet without.
I'm learning to breathe again.
Not performing, not pretending, not chasing the wind.
Just inhale and exhale,
letting God fill the space. I'm learning to
breathe again
at a sustainable pace. It's slower than I'm used to, and it feels almost wrong. But I'm learning to breathe again, and I'm learning to belong
to the life that's right in front of me
instead of what's beyond. Yeah, the recovery looked nothing like I thought that it would look. Not a breakthrough in the moment like the stories in the book. It was incremental, ordinary, sometimes barely there. A minute without pressure, in the morning without fear. I started with the basics, sleep before the work, meals without a screen, a walk that had no purpose, prayer that wasn't asking, just existing in His sight. Letting God be God for just the first hour of the light. The training gave me language, the athlete coming back from injury who has to unlearn how to overtrack, who fights the urge to rush the process back to full capacity and learns that slow return is not defeat, it's actually strategy. I started noticing the things I've been too fast to feel. The temperature of morning, the specific way the real world looks when you're present in it, not just passing through. How different everything becomes when you slow down in the true. And God met me in the ordinary, recovering days, not in the mountaintop, but in the mundane, quiet ways. A breath before the meeting, a pause before the meal, a moment of thanksgiving for the body that can feel. Lord, teach me to receive the life you actually gave, not the sprint until the breakdown, but the pace that I can save. Teach me that the breath you put in me was meant to be sustained, and that rest inside your presence isn't lost time, it's reclaimed.
Learning to breathe again.
Not performing, not pretending, not chasing the wind.
Just inhale and exhale,
letting God fill the space. I'm learning to
breathe again,
and I'm finding my own face. It's slower than the culture, and it cost me in the race. But I'm learning to breathe again, and for the first time in a long time, I can't feel the grave. You can't pour from a breathless body. God designed you to inhale before you give. 2 Corinthians 10:5. We take captive every thought to make it obedient to Christ. I spent years believing everything my mind decided to say, until I learned a thought is just a visitor, not a place to stay. Yeah. No, 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 no. Yeah. I used to take every thought I had as gospel truth. Like whatever showed up in my head was verified and proof of who I was, what I deserved, what I could or couldn't do. I let the random in the dark and the doubtful all pass through. Yeah, without a filter, without a challenge, without a single check. Just thoughts becoming feelings, becoming patterns, becoming wreck. Decisions made from anxious spirals, dressed as careful thought. Identities assembled from the lies my history taught. I thought I was the coward, thought that showed up before the stage. I thought I was the jealous, thought the bitter and the rage. I thought I was the worthless one that came at 3 a.m. I confused the thought for the thinker and kept losing to them. The religious version made it worse. I thought that bad thoughts meant that something was spiritually wrong, that God was not content with me. That every dark imagination in my head was evidence of something broken in me, spiritually dead. So I fought him with more thoughts of mental war, mental ground. And every thought I wrestled with just made a louder sound. I was losing not because the enemy was strong, but because I never learned the difference between me and what comes along.
Thoughts don't own me.
They pass through, but they don't define or hold me.
I am not
the voice that rises up to say I'll never win. I'm the one who hears it and decides where it gets in.
Thoughts don't own me.
I was bought at a higher price.
Thoughts don't own me.
I take them captive to Christ. The shift came with the simple but devastating truth that thoughts are not commands, they're more like knocking at a roof. They arrive without permission, but they need you to agree before they get the keys to what you do and who you be. I started watching thoughts the way you watch a passing car, not jumping in and driving them wherever they were headed. Just nothing would arrive and letting most of them disperse without feeding them the attention that would make them universe. The training gave me language for this form before the weight. The athlete who corrects the movement before lifting great, because technique that's left unchecked is deeper with the load, and the thought left unchallenged builds a heavily worn road. So I build a practice naming thoughts before I own them, asking is this true, is this from God before I loan them. Space inside my inner world to shape my next decision, bringing every rising thought before the Lord with precision. Not suppressing, not denying, just refusing automatic. Not every thought that feels like truth is actually that dramatic. Some are just the residue of fear from years ago. Some are just the enemy testing where the fences go. And now I move through mental weather with a different kind of standing. Not controlled by what arrives, but choosing my own landing. Lord, let me keep this discipline, the gate before the thought, the pause before the spiral, that's the freedom that you bought.
Thoughts don't own me.
They pass through, but they don't define or hold me.
I am not
the accusation rising in the night. I'm the one God named and called and sealed with his own life.
Thoughts don't own me.
I was bought at a higher price.
Thoughts don't own me.
Every captive thought belongs to Christ. You are not your thoughts. You are the one God gave the authority to choose which ones get a chair. Romans 15:13. May the God of hope fill you with all joy and peace as you trust in him, so that you may overflow with hope by the power of the Holy Spirit.
I wanted peace like a switch.
Instant, clean, and certain. Took me years to learn it. Comes more like a dawn behind the curtain. I prayed for peace on Monday and expected it by Friday. Thought the right combination of the scripture in the right way of asking God would trigger some immediate release. Like peace was a transaction and the payment brought the peace. When it didn't come that quickly, I assumed I'd done it wrong. That someone more spiritual would have had it all along. That the problem was my faith level, my discipline, my past. That peace was for the worthy and my worth would never last. I watched other people testify with light behind their eyes and wonder what they carried that I couldn't seem to find. Smiled and said amen and drove home still the same. Collected all the language but the feeling never came. I went through seasons where the peace showed up and then retreated, where a good week followed by a hard one left me defeated. Like I was building something only to have it torn away and starting over. Every time I thought I found a way, the enemy used timing against me, used the slowness as a lie. Said if God was real, the healing wouldn't take this long to find. Said the peace you're praying for is something he never hold. And I believed it partially because the weight was getting old.
Peace took time.
It didn't come the way I planned.
Peace took time.
It grew in me more than it landed. Like roots before the tree, like winter before spring.
Peace took time.
And I almost quit before the opening.
I didn't feel it.
Then one day I realized I did. Peace took time, but God was building it the whole time I lived. The turning point was lowering the threshold of the metric, stopping measuring peace by the absence of the hectic, and starting noticing the small and barely visible signs, like sleeping through a night, like quiet in between the lines, like a moment in the kitchen where the worry didn't come, like a conversation where I wasn't already undone. Before it started, small things easy to dismiss, but God was in the increments. The healing lived in this. The training gave me language, the process of the game that doesn't show on Tuesday, but is building in the frame of a body that is changing at the cellular unseen. Between the rep and the result, there's always something in between. You don't feel the muscle growing, you just show up every day, and one morning lift the weight that used to send you away. Broken, then you realize the work was never wasted. Pieces like that, present long before it's tasted. So I stopped chasing pieces, a destination to arrive, and started practicing the presence that keeps peace alive. The daily prayer, the honest word, the quiet before the start, the consistent and unglamorous maintenance of the heart, and slowly not in weeks but over seasons and through years. The baseline of my inner world began to shift from fear to something more like groundedness, like standing in the rain and not being moved completely. That's the peace I finally claimed. Lord, thank you for the slow work, for not rushing what you built, for me to me in ordinary moments without guilt, for teaching me that healing is a practice, not an event, and that every peaceful morning is the fruit of what you meant.
Peace took time.
More time than I thought, right?
Peace took time.
Through the long and heavy night, like roots before the fruit, like stars behind the cloud.
Peace took time.
But now it's real and it's loud, not loud in noise,
Loud in noise.
loud in how it holds me when I fall. Peace took time, and that's the truest miracle of all. The peace that lasts was never gonna arrive quickly. It had to be grown in you. Psalm 39, go from your spirit. Where can I flee from your presence? If I go up to the heavens, you were there. If I make my bed in the depths, you were there. I thought he left me in the darkest seasons of my life. Took me years to see his fingerprints on every single night. Yeah, I remember the year everything decided to collapse. The job, the relationship, the confidence, all falling at once and fast. I prayed until it felt like an empty ceiling every night, and got up every morning with no evidence of light. I did what people told me, read the word, attend the church, kept the disciplines of faith while quietly losing words. And the God who felt more absent with each passing Halloween. I was doing all the talking, but he never seemed to speak. I started building theological explanations for the gap. Maybe I had seen too much, maybe faith required a map I didn't have. Maybe some people get the presence, and some people just get doctrine in the second-hand lessons. I won't pretend I didn't have the thoughts that he wasn't real, that the universe was indifferent, and that prayer was just a deal we made with our own psychology to cope with being small. I had those thoughts and sat inside them, had them all. The silence felt like evidence of absence, cold and clear, and I interpreted the quiet as confirmation of my fear, that I was in this by myself, that no one held the night, that I had been abandoned at the moment of my fight. But God was there the whole time, in the silence, in the dark, he was holding the line. I couldn't feel the hands, but the hands were never gone. Go, God was there the whole time, even when I felt alone. Every night I thought he left, he was closer than my breath. God was there the whole time, from the beginning to the end. The evidence came slowly, not in visions or in signs, but in retrospect and patterns in the long view of the lines. I started seeing all the moments where I should have been undone, but somehow made it through intact and started counting one by one. The car that should have been a tragedy but was wasn't. The depression that was deep enough to drown in, but I didn't. The moment where I had no reason left to keep going, and something kept me, something I couldn't name as my own doing. I look back at the darkest corridor I walked inside and saw two sets of evidence where I thought I was the only guy. Now footprints in the sand, just outcomes that exceeded what a man alone could manage in the state that I was in and needed. The training gave me this, the spotter in the gym who keeps their hands beneath the bar but doesn't live for him, who lets the athlete struggle through the rep to build the strength but never lets the bar come down to an unbearable length. That was God in every season I mistook for abandonment. He wasn't lifting it for me, he was present in the management of how far down the weight would go before his hands engaged. He was the spotter all along on every brutally hard page. So now when I enter seasons where the silence feels like gone, I remind myself of everywhere I've already come from. I build an altar from the evidence of every close call and say, Lord, you were there, I just couldn't see it all. God was there the whole time. In the silence, in the dark, he was holding the line. Not absent, just invisible to what I could feel. God was there the whole time, and the proof is I'm still here. Every night I thought I lost him, he was carrying me through. God was there the whole time, and he's still here now too. The moments you were most convinced God had left were the moments he was carrying you closest. 1 Samuel 17. The Lord who rescued me from the paw of the lion and the paw of the bear will rescue me from the hand of this Philistine. David killed the lion before he ever faced the giant. The real victories nobody witnessed. That's what made him complain. Yeah. Nobody saw the night I almost didn't make it through. Nobody saw me on the floor with nothing left to do. No audience, no camera, no one waiting for the take. Just me and God and everything I had left on the stage. Yeah. Nobody saw the moment that I chose to not walk out. Nobody saw the conversation I had with the doubt. They try to end me quietly, no drama, no event. Just a slow erosion of the wheel until the wheel would spin. Yeah. I didn't post the battle, didn't document the war, didn't have the language for the thing I was fighting for. Just showed up to the darkness every night and stayed alive. Just chose the harder thing again and somehow would survive. The victory looked nothing like the trophies people show. No stage, no testimony that the crowd would ever know. No breakthrough moment with a soundtrack and a crowd that cheered. Just a Tuesday where I noticed the darkness had cleared. And then I sat inside that ordinary, unremarkable day and realized I had crossed the line somewhere along the way. I didn't know the exact moment that the war had turned. Just looked down at my hands and saw the calluses I'd earned. I wanted silence. Nobody clapped, nobody witnessed the compliance. I was a broken man who chose to stay when leaving felt like sense. I wanted silence, and the victory is immense. Not because the world will ever know the battle that I fought, but because God knows, and that's everything I got. There's a kind of winning that the culture cannot measure, that doesn't fit the metrics of the platform or the pressure, that lives entirely in the private and the personal. The win that has no witness but is completely real and whole. I think about the nights I chose the word over the spiral, the mornings I got up when giving up felt more than vital, the meals I didn't skip, the help I finally went to get, the therapy appointment that my pride almost made me forget. The training gave me the transformation in the mirror that happens over months before the difference becomes clearer. The athlete doesn't win the day he steps onto the stage. He won it in 1,000 days, nobody saw his page. The competition was already settled in the process. Every hidden rep a vote against the voice of hopeless. The day the world saw something was just when the curtain moved. The actual victory had already been approved. So I carry this with me now like something deeply known, that the most important battles in my life were fought alone. Not alone, without God alone, without an audience to see, just me and God in a room deciding who I be. And I decided quietly, repeatedly in pain, to stay, to fight, to trust, to rise, to do it all again. Not for the recognition, not for anything to show, but because the man God made me to be required it to be so. I wanted silence. God and I both know the full extent of the reliance on His grace that kept me standing when I should have fallen through. won in silence, and not a single rep was lost. Nobody saw me fighting.
Nobody saw me fighting.
Nobody saw me breaking.
Nobody saw me breaking.
Nobody saw the night I chose to stay.
Nobody saw the night I chose to stay.
Nobody saw the morning I got up anyway. Nobody saw the war, but I won it. And God saw everything, and that has always been enough. The victories that shaped you most will never have an audience, and they don't need one.